Okay, so right now I'm starting to stream here again. 7:30 here on YouTube, and just making sure we have this event that I have pulled up here all set for us. So okay. So I gotta get better at learning YouTube system here, because they're basically going over the information here that I'm seeing. The stream that I'm putting out to them is solid here, but when I try to set up like special events and things like that, it's not letting me do that. Okay, so let's start with what we were supposed to be doing previously. What I've been doing here is I'm trying to excuse me one second, trying to get some drawing done. I did a pinup of Robin, the Tim Drake Robin, and basically in Sketchbook Pro. I can redraw that. But basically the idea was to kind of get a more dynamic pose for him, and we had like a little leaping pose, which is not this pose here. I'm gonna erase that. There's gotta be something I can do to help with this. Now, one thing I wanted to do while this was going on here is to kind of get an idea as to the stream and kind of get some thoughts from people here. I don't know if people are watching, which doesn't look like there is, but the people that are, if they want to chat, they can certainly do so. What I'm basically doing is just kind of drawing and inking. So what I did was I drew a Tim Drake, and now I'm going to ink him in Manga Studio. So I'm going to pull up the copy of Tim Drake that I made earlier. Now I try to make these pinups my own here with a little bit more stability. So let me just make sure that I get this set up right for the save file. Sorry, I'm a little nervous here. So yeah, been working on this for a while now with these pinups that I've been doing, Pinup Monday, stories, and or Pinup Mondays, and just trying to make them a little bit more fun. So the first ever live stream, so please excuse my lack of professionalness. So I'm sorry. Alright, so basically I start out with what I consider one of the easier parts of this, the ear side. Now what I do is in Manga Studio is I make sure that the stabilization is on the brush, because if it's not stable enough it can get a little jittery, and so I bump it up to 100% on G pen. And if you look at that, that's a lot better than that squiggly line that was there before. Just going to zoom in really quickly here. Get his nose in that. Now, Tim Drake is kind of one of the odd Robins there, because, I tend to believe he's a favorite of the community. Dick Grayson will always be, the number one Robin, but when it came to, passing down the mantle of Robin, I thought Tim Drake was a perfect fit. And while I understand people's decisions, I'm not a person that will, dispute a creator's choice. But, Damian Wayne was a little too serious and lacked the Robin-ness of Robin, which I think works for if you're going with a Dick Grayson Batman, which that first arc where he's kind of like Batman is the less serious one and Robin is the more focused. That kind of is a great juxtaposition, as they say, of the characters and their stories, and how Dick Grayson has kind of gone from this, circus acrobat orphan who got tangled up in Batman's war on crime to becoming Batman and kind of trying to have a different approach to being Batman, which I liked. I liked that idea, and then we have Damian Wayne as Robin, kind of usurping that and subverting that, making Robin the more serious of the two, which, is an interesting dynamic. It's a challenge to the original archetypes that were set up back in the 40s and things like that. So, 30s and 40s, which, I kind of like that. I kind of like when creators try to do something different with with existing characters. What I don't like, I haven't really sat down and read, but just the thought of a Bruce Wayne, Damian Wayne combination, where it's literally Batman's son and Batman fighting crime, where you can kind of make that argument that Dick Grayson was Batman's son. Robin was the son of Batman more than Damian Wayne would be, even though he's biologically in the comics, in the very comic book way, biologically. However, for the most part, I don't, I really can't comment on too much on that because I really haven't read anything. But for me, from the idea point of view, I'm kind of more of, if that idea gels, then let's see what it looks like. Robin has always been kind of like the fun-loving of the two. Even with people like Tim Drake in the role, he's still kind of the brash one, the quick to act one. There's a reason why Batman dresses him in red. As they used to say, he's like the target practice. That reminds me of Tiny Toon Adventures, where they kind of did a parody of Batman with Plucky Duck as Batman and Hampton as Decoy, the Boy Wonder, which is just basically a red suit with a target painted on it. It's if you haven't seen that one, I would try to find that, check that out. It's pretty funny. Robin has always been one of my more favorite of the sidekicks. Hey Matt, how you doing? Just saw you in the chat there. Just trying out this new live thing. Let me know what you think. And be sure to share with friends and family, The more likes we get, the more, the more views, all of that fun stuff, the more we can do this again. If I'm shouting into the microphone, let me know, because I don't want to be. I want to, want to make sure this is a fun experience for everybody. This is supposed to be fun, more than anything. I'm just here having fun drawing and inking. Hopefully, you guys are having fun drawing and ink, watching me draw and ink. So just let me know what's going on. There seems to be a little bit of a lag between the chat and the stream, so if you're having problems with that, just let me know, and I'll be able to assist with that, or I'll try my best to assist, as to where I'm at here. But yeah, feel free to hit me up here, or if you you're on Twitter or Facebook, if you want to use, mention at Backpage Comics in your tweets, even if they're good or bad tweets, I don't care really. I just want to have fun here today. So getting back to the Robin stuff and, kind of my little ramble there. Yeah, I didn't really see a problem with Dick Grayson as Batman as long as Robin was Damian Wayne, with Damian Wayne being Robin and Bruce Wayne being Batman. Something about that rings a little untrue for the characters. Just trying to think of anything else that I can mention here. Well, another thing I kind of mentioned on my fan page for Electrifying Lightning Man on Facebook, which if you haven't read my webcomic, it's electrifyinglightingman.com. I'll try to post a link in the description down below here. Most likely after the stream is done. But one thing that I had mentioned here was kind of taking a break from the comic for a little bit. The main reason is the stories are kind of getting a little crazy. And just the story right now is kind of, there's a lot of characters involved and a lot of storylines that haven't been completed. Yeah, I really like that too. Yeah, I agree, Matt. That was a really good, cool idea. But right now, kind of just switching focuses here. But yeah, for Lightning Man, just been having a little bit more fun with taking a little break because I haven't really been having a lot of fun with the storyline. It's a little bit more dark than I planned, and sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not. I'm trying to make it a little bit more serious. Some major things have happened, and this is kind of the season finale, and I haven't really gotten to why we have these characters in the situation yet, and what's going to happen next with these characters. And I don't know. You ever paint yourself into a corner? It's kind of like that. It's okay. Now, how do I get out of this one, or how do I fix that? And you can do the tried and true reboot. You can do the tried and true retcon. But I kind of want to be a little bit more. I hate to use the word more creative because those are interesting ways of getting out of those corners there. But at the same time, just kind of retconning things and saying, oh yeah, that actually did happen in the continuity. It doesn't really make sense to me. So just trying to make sure that we have, with the Lightning Man stories, have a little more focus here. So taking a little break, taking a little breather when it comes to that, just kind of get my mindset. Plus I have some other things that I'm working on, some commissions as well, which I'm available for commission. So if you want to leave a comment about commissions or things like that, or if you want to talk a little bit more on that, if you want to reach out to me, you can send a comment on the page, or believe my email should be on there too. If not, you can DM me on Twitter. Twitter handle is at BackpageComics. So just let me know if you're looking for commission. I'll give you some prices and we'll go from there. So Um, yeah, one of the things I liked about Tim Drake Robin was the art design. I kind of brought up in the last bit of the stream there, after we took a break there, or before we took a break. Just trying to make sure that I get it right here. Well, let's see. That looks pretty good. Actually, that top part should be a little bit more dramatic. There we go. I just remember reading a Robin story from like the early 90s where it's an Azrael story, and big long story. It's kind of like the first guy to one of the first guys to replace Batman outside of Dick Grayson. After Dick Grayson tried the first time to replace Batman, there was a hand-selected Azrael, and he really didn't. He was basically like an insane, almost like a killer. Anyway, long story short, is the story that I read had Robin, Tim Drake at the time, getting strangled by Batman, which is like, Batman doesn't do that. Even Bruce Wayne never chokehold. He'll punch Robin, but he won't like try to kill him. But so in defense, Robin's R is actually a throwing weapon, which I didn't, and he, basically was able to pull it off and stab Batman with it, which was the Azrael Batman with that, and it was an interesting idea. It was like, I always thought about doing that with Lightning Man or something like that, and it just based off of his type of character, there are certain things that I can and can't do with it, especially with the energy wielding side of things. I did kind of work in some boomerang style ideas with in the original storyline with his daughter, a lightning woman of sorts, coming from the future to coming to the past and all that. Basically, the idea was she doesn't have his full power set. She can charge things electrically, kind of like Gambit. So she would have these throwing stars that look like lightning bolts, like boomerang shaped lightning bolts. Like, I can draw that right now. They look kind of like this. They look kind of like this, where she threw it and it would have this electrical charge associated with it and would either explode or something like that, depending on the type of device there. The type of boomerang it is. That was the original Lightning Woman, daughter of Lightning Man idea, but originally I had that idea for Lightning Man where he had these throwing stars that he could charge, but didn't make a lot of sense for the character, plus the range of the lightning bolts and things like that can always shift depending on the storyline. So kind of scrapped that idea. So one thing I've been trying to do is trying to keep up more on the CW stories with like the Flash and things like that. I don't know if anybody's been watching that series, but I really love it. I haven't seen the 4-port crossover, just because my time, between this and between drawing, comics, the day job, all of that, I don't really have a whole lot of free time to myself, but I do try to take advantage of that when I can. So the day job has kind of been a little bit more hectic than it has in the past, so I'm a little, but I hope it'll calm down a little bit, and I'll I'll have some free time later so I can catch up. Yeah. So, it's gonna hit the wrong key there. Alright, so that's kind of the inks for the Robin pinup. We'll take away the blue lines there. And doesn't that look better? Doesn't that look good? Oh yeah, that looks fantastic. Let's see here. It's been almost a half hour since we started the ink process here. I don't want to keep you guys for too long. I can do maybe a little bit of backgrounds, and then we'll call it a night here. And then we'll see the finished product in the morning. I'll post that here, as well as on my DeviantArt page and Tumblr and wherever you can find me. You'll see that. So, I know I say a lot here, but it's just been a long time since I had to do like public speaking. So, it has been sneaking back into my vocabulary. So I do apologize there. Okay. And yeah, the screen went blank for a little bit on my end here. I don't know if you're seeing that, but this happens with Manga Studio every now and then, where if there's something that's beyond the processor type, it'll automatically like blank out the screen. The reason I'm using the magic wand is to kind of make sure that only Robin is not selected. Any part of Robin is not selected, because when we do these backgrounds, we can actually cut into him or outside of him. So, for example, I do this line here, and then enter, and no intersecting lines. It doesn't cut through him. It's really fun. I'm sure a lot of people use that method, but I like using it for this particular reason. It makes it a little easier for me to finish up the backgrounds for. So, do some quick backgrounds, and then we'll call it a night. I'll leave you guys alone for a little bit, and on Monday morning you'll see the new artwork, because I don't want to waste your precious Sunday evening here. You've got your shows to watch, I believe. I honestly don't know what's on. Don't really watch a lot of regular TV. I'm more of a YouTube viewer, to be honest. So I've got some Game Theory episodes to watch when I'm done. I'm a huge MatPat fan, so if anybody who watches this stream knows MatPat, or if you want to forward this information to MatPat, tell him I'm a huge fan and I would love to draw him as a superhero character. So have him give me a shout out. All right. It's a pretty quick little background image here for Robin. And again, Manga Studio, because I'm doing something that fills up an entire part of the screen, it panics and thinks, oh my goodness, what are you doing? That's a basic idea here. We'll see it more fleshed out once it's completed. I thank you so much, everyone who watched it, and if you're going to watch it in archive land, please feel free to comment there. Let me know if you'd like to see this in the future. If you do like this, please give us a thumbs up. Please make sure that you share and let everybody know here. Let everybody know, your friends and family, or let me know how I'm doing as a live streamer here. My first time ever, so appreciate you taking the time to watch our little live stream here. Thank you, Matt, for commenting below, and if you do have any other comments through the live chat, just let us know what we can do. Help me. This all helps me create more artwork for you. So and we'll definitely be doing this next Sunday again, no matter what. So we'll see you next Sunday with a new image, and till next time, thank you again for watching, and as I like to say, as I used to say before, with my Backpage Comics thing, you can actually check me out on backpagecomics.com. That'll link you to my Tumblr page. But as I used to say, thank you so much for watching, and don't ignore the back page. We'll see you next time.